Many believe that Tennessee quarterback commit Faizon Brandon is the top quarterback in the class of 2026. I'm going to tell you why here today. It's your Tuesday Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into it, your Tuesday morning Locked On Vols, presented by our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook, where new customers can get up to $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Give a big shout out to our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm Eric Cain here, the host of Locked On Vols. Do it every single weekday morning when you wake up, free and available. We are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day. Could not do it without you everydayers, for making this show what it is. And check out the newsletters as well here with the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm also a part of the team over at volquest.com, covering your Tennessee Volunteers each and every single day. Got a fun show coming up, mailbag questions later in the show. But first, Brian Smith, host of Locked On the Portal, does an excellent job there, does a great job covering recruiting for the Locked On Network. He's really, really high on Tennessee quarterback commit Faizon Brandon, and he'll tell us why he thinks he's one of the top quarterbacks in the country and why I think he's the top quarterback in the nation. My conversation with Brian Smith right now. Brian, earlier this week, you unveiled an episode over at Locked On the Portal of your top quarterback rankings for the class of 2026. And of course, Tennessee's got one of the best quarterbacks in the class already committed in Faizon Brandon. Where did Faizon come in your rankings? And why are you wrong? Why is he not number one?
He's number 3 for me. The top 4 I consider to be about as close to interchangeable as they get. Keyshawn, Henderson, Ryder Lyons, Faizon Brandon. I have him third just because he hasn't played as much elite competition. That's it. He's played pretty good, but like when I spoke to him a little over a month ago at Elite 11 in Atlanta, like they roll people in their area. And it's just like I wish he played in Atlanta, Dallas, LA, Miami, somewhere where he just constantly has to worry about getting smacked upside the head. That's just, he toys with players, and I'm sure you've watched his film several times like I have. And I've watched him. There's certain things he hasn't had to do yet as a quarterback that will be required when he's playing SEC football, because he makes guys look dumb with his feet. But like the Elite 11, they do such a great job of putting players in stress. The first time I saw him last year, same exact place, same event, there were some throws where you could tell like he was not comfortable. But the second time through, like you repeat it, like he would change within 5 minutes. So not only is he good, he's really intelligent. He picked up what everybody was telling him, and they've got a ton of quarterback trainers there. So that was the other reason I had him so high. If you're not coachable, quarterback is not for you. That is the hardest position in team sport, and Faizon Brandon gets it. And his demeanor, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know him or been around him, he's as good a kid as you're ever going to meet, too. So Tennessee fans will love that. I just think all around he has all the skills, and he could be the first pick in the draft. But he's got more to grow when it comes to learning some of those skills. And, again, it's nothing against him. It's just where he's played. So Keyshawn, Henderson, who I have number 1, very, very similar. He's playing in Houston. He's played against more top competition, but it's the same kind of deal. And both of them could be elite recruits as receivers, free safeties, whatever. We're talking about freak athletes here.
Yeah. You kind of went into it a little bit there. And I mean, obviously Tennessee fans, Faizon's been committed for a minute, so they're very familiar with his game. But maybe for those that don't cover or don't follow recruiting as closely as we do, what about Faizon's game kind of sets him apart? Again, you mentioned some of it already, but he's got a strong arm, good feet, smart, coachable, all that. But what about his game kind of sets him apart from, you're in this bunch with the top 4, the Curtis, the Brandons, the Henderson, the Lions, and then there's a drop-off. Why is Faizon in that top-tier group?
Because it doesn't really matter if the protection's good or bad. It doesn't matter if it's run or pass. He stays very even keel. It's the mentality. Quarterback is above the shoulders, man. Like, no offense to Tom Brady, but I'll take Faizon Brandon, the athlete, in general. You know what I mean? Like, Tom Brady's the greatest player of all time, but, like, it's just amazing what he can do in today's game. When everything goes wrong, they might score. And he doesn't care if he has a good play or a bad play. He stays even keel. The number of kids, and I'm not going to go into names, that are elite quarterbacks in the last 5 years that I've been around that are really difficult to cover. I'm putting this mildly because they're arrogant. People around them are arrogant. This is the opposite. I tell kids all the time, they ask, what do I got to do to get recruited, get offers? Be low maintenance. Faizon might be the best player in the country. You can certainly argue that. And he's one of the most low-maintenance kids I've met all year. That's an incredibly rare recipe. So you put all that together, and he's a great fit for the Tennessee offense too, because he's like Nico was a great athlete, but they didn't run him a ton. You'll see Faizon take off more. He's just under 200 or right at 200 pounds. By the time he's done with his first year, I'd imagine he's 215 minimum, probably closer to 218, 220. He's going to be a horse that on kind of like what Notre Dame did with Riley Leonard on 3rd and 1. If you want to do that with Faizon, and he's an even better athlete than Riley, that's saying something, but he's an even better athlete. They are going to be a bear to deal with.
Yeah, it kind of leads me to my next point. When Faizon eventually gets on campus, next winter as an early enrollee and all that, I mean, you're looking at a quarterback room with Jake Merklinger, depending on if Jake Merklinger wins the quarterback battle with Joey Aguilar and George McIntyre this summer, this fall camp. That's to be determined. But Faizon comes in, and he's going to step in and be the most physically gifted guy in the room. I mean, hands down. It's a process, right? I mean, that's why you don't see oftentimes too many true freshman starting quarterbacks from day one or starting offensive tackle. Like, those are positions that, take a little grooming a little bit. It doesn't mean they don't play, and then, of course, you have those unicorns that are just studs. But for Faizon, I mean, how quickly can he, come in and try to command this offense with Josh Heupel and be the perfect fit for Tennessee in 2026?
It's one of the simpler offenses from a base perspective to operate. That part's good. The bad part is you're still going against defenses now that you see more and more teams running match, which is Saban's defense, and it is uber complex. More and more teams are running that, and just a lot of post-snap changes. Freshman quarterbacks with those, the ball goes the wrong direction a lot. Heupel didn't become a head coach by being dumb. Do I think he starts as a freshman? Probably not. Now, somebody's going to get beat out second year. I'm going to go ahead and call that. He will be the starter for the Vols in 27. That's what I'm calling now, because nobody has his physical traits. I've seen all three of these kids at Elite 11s. I've seen them at Under Armour, et cetera, et cetera. There is no doubt the best one out of this group is Faizon. Now, it's up to him to learn the playbook and to understand, okay, when they're in this, it's more than likely going to jump into match. Well, it's just film study, but God blessed him in a different way. And again, with his personality, the background that he has, I will be shocked if he doesn't not only do well with it, he'll enjoy the process and be elite at it. I could be wrong, but I think he will pick up the playbook a lot quicker. Eric, most of the time, it's year 3 for quarterbacks before they're ready, minimum. This is a special player with his feet, but the way he approaches the game makes him a quick study as well. I think he will be year 2 starter for the Vols.
Hey, more on Faizon Brandon when we come back here on Locked On Vols. The marriage, Faizon in Tennessee, Curtis with Georgia, Henderson with Houston. Who's got that best marriage, if you will? Plus, take a look at the rest of the 26 recruiting class for Tennessee. We'll get Brian's thoughts on that coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on all the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. I mean, it's the NBA playoffs happening right now, but big-time baseball fan, Major League Baseball, watch the Braves. I listen, I watch, I keep up with the live stats app and all that and more for the Atlanta Braves. I mean, they started the season off 0-7, right? Now they're, a game or two under 500. They've been playing some good baseball. So there's so many different ways that you can put some coin in your pocket with Major League Baseball, run line, spreads, all that type of more, individual player props, so much more. Plus, when you got a read on who's heating up, whether it be in basketball or baseball or whatever, why not back it up with the same game parlay to cash in even more? How could a 200 bonus in bets add the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? That's a phenomenal job right there. So, new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head on over to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Not bad. Make every moment more with FanDuel. It's the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and it's where you can make every moment more. A lot of Faizon Brandon conversation here. Brian Smith locked on the portal, did his quarterback rankings on Monday's show. Encourage you to go check that out. I'll link the show in the bio here on a Tuesday morning. He has Faizon number 3, but obviously, Brian, as you've mentioned, the top 4 really interchangeable. But when you look at that top 4, Jared Curtis, in-state Tennessee native committed to Georgia. Faizon Brandon, Tennessee. Keyshawn Henderson, Houston, and of course Ryder Lyons, currently still uncommitted. But of those three, who's the best fit with said coach, with said system? I know you've already spoke on Faizon a little bit. Is he the best of the three?
That is a tremendous question. You could argue Jared, but he's a little more mobile than what – I mean, Georgia's had some statues in the past. And when they won their titles, they finally had a guy that could move. Mm-hmm. Ironically, he was a guy that was a walk-on at one point. That's one of the weirdest recruiting stories in the history of college athletics. But I think that Jared's a pretty good fit. I would still take Faizon more because of his arm strength with Tennessee, the way they had the wide splits and all that. It's almost a prerequisite. Now, Stetson Bennett was a good player for Georgia. Jared Curtis's arm is one of the strongest arms I've ever seen, period. Like, it's insanity. He's the guy you bring in the ninth inning and he throws 99. He's that guy. He's got a hose. Keyshawn is such a good athlete. They're going to have to ride or die with him at Houston. I don't put him in the conversation. No offense to Houston. And I know Keyshawn, great guy. They don't have anybody else like him. He's going to have to play. So it doesn't matter what offense they use. They're going to have to assimilate to him. So it's kind of take your pick between Faizon and Jared. And I would go Faizon because the offense is going to be easier to pick up. Georgia's offense is not easy to pick up at all. So that'll be easier. And again, the wide splits with the big arm. I think Jared would have been a good fit for Tennessee too, but Faizon's athleticism is on a whole nother level. I'll go Faizon Brandon.
Like it. Like that real good right here on Locked On Vols. Looking specifically at Faizon, obviously, and I'm over here at his On3, recruiting profile, and On3, such as 247, Rivals, ESPN, and you as well. You all do updated rankings throughout the year and all that. But right now, Faizon is an On3 industry ranking 5-star, 7th player in the country, 2nd quarterback, 1st in his state. On3 has him ranked specifically the lowest. They have him as a 34th ranked prospect overall. 247 has him as number 1. ESPN has him at 8, and Rivals has him at number 2. Now, if you were looking at the big board, okay, doesn't matter the position and all that, and I know I'm probably putting you on the spot. You don't have to give me a specific number, but where would Faizon rank for you? Are we talking top 10, top 20, top 5? Where's he at?
He'd be top 5 because of his ability to do things differently off the field, how he handles media. His teammates are going to love him. Again, I had these conversations all the time with college coaches. Low maintenance. The recent NFL draft had somebody that wasn't low maintenance. It got a lot of publicity. That's why he didn't go high. It's just true. And Faizon is the polar opposite of that. And Tennessee fans need more low maintenance in their life after some recent events as well at the quarterback position.
It's funny. Like, I was just thinking that too. Like Nico, and I don't want to make this about Nico. We're trying to move on. I get that. But like Nico, the person was not high maintenance.
No,
he was a good teammate. Everybody liked him. But it's just everything that was Nico, the brand, obviously was anything but low maintenance for a couple of years.
Yeah, I was around some of that when I first met him. He's one of the coolest cats I've ever met. But like some of the exterior, I prefer not to deal with. But anyway, Faizon's a guy that I think will be the perfect locker room guy. He's the kind of person the NFL just uses. They're all about protect the brand, protect the shield. Well, the Vols have that kind of thing too. You want to protect the T. I mean, this is a big deal. Like Tennessee's my favorite stadium to go to, by the way, just as a random. There's they put a lot of effort in all that stuff. Your quarterback, whether he wants it or not, he's in charge of protecting it. The fans will love him. The coaches will love him. The players. And he's going to assimilate to anything that you do. When you combine that with his physical gifts, how do you not go Faizon Brandon as one of the top players? Now, again, he's not at the same point. Like Ryder Lyons is the safest pick out of these 4. He's been trained to play quarterback since he came out of the womb. He's insanely athletic. He does all the right things. Great kid. But he's who he is. Faizon Brandon hasn't even scratched the surface. Like Ryder's up to 225. Faizon's almost 200. When he gets to 220, 225, I am really interested to see what his arm strength jump is. It's already really good, but he has another level. This kid's upside, man. I'm telling you, Eric, it is scary, and it couldn't happen to a better person too.
Yeah, Faizon committed to Tennessee last August. It was around the start of fall camp, and again, he's been committed for a moment. Now, how difficult is it going to be for Tennessee to hold on to Faizon? I mean, anytime someone commits early, but anytime you're just this caliber of player, quarterback, it's going to be tough to hold on. Whenever Bill Belichick was hired in North Carolina, you thought, okay, well, maybe they'll start swinging. LSU's been in this conversation as well. But, through it all, again, I'm not saying it's never over until it's over. We know that. But, Faizon's been loyal to Tennessee, and he said all the right things, done all the right things, been back on campus. Feels like Faizon wants to be in Knoxville, but obviously it's going to be a fight till the end because schools aren't going to just stop swinging for a guy like that.
Well, he told me when I was with him at the event in Atlanta that, hey, when Bill got hired, the first day he was supposed to come, but North Carolina got snowed out. Like he couldn't get there. And I was like, oh, that's wild. Yeah. So Bill Belichick, I'm going to guess he's not the greatest recruiter. Okay. Not Mr. Personality, but it's still Bill Belichick. And he's saying, I'd like to meet him or whatever. Yeah. But he didn't seem like overwhelmingly interested in Carolina. It's Bill. Okay. That's cool. But there was nobody else that he mentioned to me. I said, is there anybody else that you'd have it? And he just didn't really care. Like he's very nonchalant about recruiting. He's had, everybody offered him. Like we knew about him a long time ago. And when I saw him last year at Future 50 down in Bradenton at IMG, like that's when Bud Elliott and some of the 247 guys in it rank him so high. He played really well, and that's why he got that ranking so high. Like he was still the same guy then as he is now. Like it doesn't matter where his ranking is or anything else. And that's part of the reason I think Tennessee's in a pretty good spot here because he doesn't care that his ranking's up or he's getting more attention. He's just happy with Tennessee.
Tennessee in the class of 2026 right now, according to the On3 industry rankings, 12th in the nation, 5th in the SEC. Tennessee has 7 commits. Certainly in it for some big-time prospects. Zach Groves, Tennessee's in that one. Savion Hyder, Tennessee's in that one. I can go on and on and on and list all these different players, and that's why I think Tennessee's going to be borderline top 10 class just because they're in so many of these big boy battles. But of the 7 commits right now, Brian, I'll list them out here. You probably do because you're great at your job, but I would assume you don't have it all memorized, but Faizon, obviously, Tyreek King, wide receiver, is in this class. Gabriel Ascenda, interior offensive lineman, 4 stars in this class. Carson Sneed, who's getting a lot of looks from a lot of different programs. Still right now in Tennessee's class, 4-star tight end. Tyron Evans, wide receiver, 3-star, a little lowly ranked there. C.J. Edwards, an edge player, 3-star. And Braylon Outlaw, linebacker, 3-star. What do you like about this class? It feels like a lot of guys or a lot of people really high on Tyreek King, the kind of the local prospect here from Knoxville Catholic High School, like his upside in the slot position.
Yeah, he's the kid that I'm most familiar with. The last kid you mentioned, the linebacker, is a pretty good player. Like 3-star, 4-star, like linebackers, just as a note here, linebacker, unless you're unbelievable, it's hard to even get 4-star status because it's one of the least impactful positions.
Yeah.
That's a good player. Tennessee knows what it's doing on defense. Look at their run defense last year. It was as good as it gets in the country. So I'll trust Tennessee's staff over my opinion, number one. Secondarily, King's a guy that he will make you miss in a phone booth. And in that offense, with all the deep shots they take, you got to make a lot of decisions. If you're not going to cover him up on the slot, like if you don't get hands on him, and good luck because he's off the line, he could be like Squirrel was, but hopefully a little healthier, more consistent. But he's the same kind of deal.
Stay on the feet. Don't lose your feet. Yeah.
Yeah, Squirrel falls down once in a while.
Yes.
But he's a kid that's electric. And it's cool that he's from Knoxville. There's usually a player or two from the Knoxville area every year. Not all of them stay home, but that's kind of cool for Tennessee fans. I bet he plays pretty early. And slot receiver is one of the easier spots to get on the field, too.
Brian Smith, host of Locked On The Portal. Again, you had your 2026 quarterback rankings with Faizon Brandon coming in at number 3. That was Monday's show. What do you got coming up the rest of the week and some things we can look forward to? One of the newer shows here on the network, and it's a good one, Locked On The Portal.
I'm going to be doing rankings all the way quarterback to DB. Running back is something I'm working on here in just a few minutes. I'm getting ready to go to Georgia to go scout a kid that's probably going to be in my top 10. But since I live close enough, I'm like, you might as well see him live if you can. Might as well. Been able to be receivers, etc. Receivers really hard. That is insanely difficult. And we're also going to be talking about all the commitments. Starting this next weekend, Eric, that's when the madness begins. Georgia's got a big weekend and several other schools. I don't know if the Vols do, but all these visits start, and then the recruiting commitments will flow. Like right now, there's 2 to 5 a day. It'll go to 10 to 15 real quick, and I'm talking about Tennessee, Texas, USC, those kind of deals. It's going to be a blast. So tune into the Portal Podcast.
Check it out wherever you get your podcasts on YouTube and follow the show on Twitter at @LO_The Portal. That is Brian Smith, host of Locked On The Portal. Brian, as always, appreciate it, man. We'll have you back on the show soon, okay?
Thank you very much, sir.
What is going on with Tennessee baseball? Losers of 4 straight, losers of 5 of 6, reigning national champions, formerly ranked number 1 in the country. What's going on? Regular season's coming to an end this weekend. What's the fix? That and so many more of your mailbag questions coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center, all right? You can track all of your accounts, investments, spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money, you start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much money I was spending online shopping, food delivery, stuff like that. And now my budget's smarter and I'm saving so much more. Instead of juggling all these multiple different apps for bank accounts and this and that, I use Monarch to check all my finances, track my spending, and even plan some long-term goals with my wife and our little family. And we're all on the same page. It's stress-free. It's awesome, right? Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, promo code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Again, promo code, that is LOCKEDONCollege. Tennessee baseball is really going through it right now. They've lost 5 of the past 6 series. They've lost 4 straight series. They've lost 4 straight rubber matches. They're 2-5 in rubber match games this season. Again, it's been a bad 5+ weeks for the University of Tennessee. Still loads of talent on the roster. I mean, Tony Vitello is the best recruiter in the nation, in my opinion, if not the best, top 3. Plenty of top 150 prospects on this team, MLB draft. Plenty of really, really good wins from the draft last year for giving these freshmen on campus for a couple of years. So, I mean, it's not like there's no talent on this roster. It's just, it's a team that's not playing well right now. Offensively, not scoring enough runs. Defensively, sloppy plays at time. And, more than anything, I don't think this team has enough pitching right now. And so, we can go on and on and on. And we talk about it a little bit on the show. But, of course, check out the Porch Podcast every week over at volquest.com. When it's nothing about Tennessee, it's nothing but Tennessee baseball. But for the most part, it's really hard to continue winning at an elite level after you've won a national championship. So Brent Hubbs pointed me to this stat earlier on Monday, and I went and kind of found some more out of it. We kind of collaborated on this stat. It's really interesting. I mean, this is no like, okay, well, this season's a wash, or this is no mulligan or anything. It just goes to show you, how incredibly difficult it is to win after winning a national championship. In the past 4 national championship winners, Tennessee currently owns the best conference record the following year. Tennessee won the national championship in 2024. Tennessee currently is 15-12 in the SEC. In 23, LSU won the national championship. Last year's conference record for the Tigers, 13-17. In 2022, it was Ole Miss. In 2023, that conference record for the Rebels, 6-24. In 2021, Mississippi State won the national title. The 2022 conference record for the Bulldogs, 9-12. Oregon State in the Pac-12 in 2018 won the national championship. Their conference record the following year was 21-8, losing out in the regional play. 2016 national champions, Coastal Carolina, didn't qualify for postseason play the following year because it didn't punch its ticket by winning the Sun Belt. Florida is a bit of an outlier in this conversation, specifically in the SEC. Florida won it all in 2017. The following year in 2018 had a 20-10 SEC record. They are certainly the only SEC team that kind of differs from this trend of the past 10 years. And Vanderbilt, we don't know about Vanderbilt. They won in 2019, but of course in 2020, the conference season and the College World Series were void, due to COVID-19. So that goes a bit of perspective, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Again, no mulligan. This season's not over. It doesn't mean all is forgiven or anything. It doesn't mean that's any less frustrating. It just goes to show you the past recent national champions, specifically in the last 10 years in the SEC. You think it's awful right now. You think it's rock bottom. It's certainly not rock bottom. Tennessee's record of 15-12 in the SEC, by and large, much better than that of recent national champions LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, in conference play the following year. So a little bit of perspective I thought I'd bring on the show. I thought that was a Really, really interesting stat. Okay, going to get into some questions here for the mailbag edition of the show the last couple of minutes. We'll go to Tyler first. Tyler says, how is Hunter Hensley not climbing MLB prospect list right now with his play this season? He's consistent at the plate, and he's a vacuum in center field. I'm sure he's climbing the boards a little bit, but I mean, end of the day, he's old. Okay, he is an older guy. Typically, you come out of high school or you come out as soon as you're 21, whether that be sophomore or junior season. And when you come back to college after that, you lose leverage. And, Hunter Hensley obviously made the right decision for him. He's being, I would assume, well compensated, name, image, and likeness regards after winning the national championship and having such a legendary second half of the season and postseason play with those plays in Omaha. He's certainly on people's radars, don't get me wrong, but in terms of like climbing up there, top 200, top 150 prospects, it's just not going to happen because he doesn't have the leverage. Bruce on the loose says, hope you're feeling better. Thank you. I feel great, and I think I sound good today. How about that, right? He said, I asked this to Josh Ward years ago about Coach Butch Jones if he had all the pieces in place around him, as Nick Saban did at Alabama, such as analysts, assistant coaches, etc. With all the money that is being spent on sports now, does Tennessee compare with the big boys like Georgia, Ohio States of the world? If you want to win, Tennessee's certainly a place that has the resources to go and win for sure. Now, in terms of putting money into your roster, how much does that take? We heard 15 to 20 million for Ohio State to win the national title last year. We know Ole Miss went all in, and of course, it didn't make the college football playoff. It was close. It just kind of differs in that regard. But in terms of where the revenue share is going to be for Tennessee football when all that gets settled later in the summer, in my opinion, it's going to be certainly competitive. Okay, will it be the best in the country? No. Will it be one of the better ones in the country? I would assume so. Tennessee has a strong collective. Okay, I'm not saying Tennessee's the richest team in the world, but Tennessee has a strong collective for sure. Okay, so there's that. I think Tennessee has a good head coach. I think Tennessee's coaching staff is good. I think Tennessee has a bunch of off-the-field analysts that bring a lot to the table. Now, Tennessee does not have a general manager. Doesn't feel like Tennessee's going to have a general manager based on Josh Heupel's comments from the Big Orange Caravan. That's somewhere where I would differ. I think Tennessee needs a general manager. You know why? Because Ohio State has one. Georgia has one. Oregon has one. Alabama has one. LSU has one. Why don't you have one? You know what I'm saying? Why don't you have one? It's a copycat league, right? So I would go in the route of hiring a general manager. That's just my personal opinion. But to answer your question, is it the most resource richest program in the country? No. Is it poor? Heck no. Is it competitive to win at a high level and to have a chance to win national championships, to go out and get players to help you do that? Yes. I think Tennessee is a very, very well-resourced program for sure. And again, I think it's going to be one of the more competitive in terms of rev share when all that gets going. Will it be the richest? No. Will it be competitive? Yes, absolutely it will be. Let's go to James. Hope I'm not too late for Twitter Tuesday. You are not, sir. What does Vitello do with the rotation in regionals? I hate holding your ace for game 2, but right now Doyle is the only guy you can remotely trust. The only way I go Doyle in game 1 is if you are a 2 and get a really underseeded 3 like Northeastern or WKU in game 1. We'll have to see. I mean, first and foremost, my question is, what's the rotation look like this weekend, right? I mean, Tony Vitello this past weekend clearly frustrated with Marcus Phillips. I think more of that stems with him not covering the first base bag in that 5-run fourth inning where it all kind of unraveled. Clearly, Marcus Phillips has issues controlling the run game. I recognize all that. But my rebuttal would be to those that want to see Marcus Phillips out of the rotation, or if Tennessee were to do that this weekend, what are you going to do with Marcus Phillips? Marcus Phillips, the pitcher, deserves to start every weekend. He's been really good for Tennessee, but Marcus Phillips, the run manager, does not deserve to be on the mound because it's just not good. I mean, again, I'm not a coach. I don't have the answer. Mixing up your timing, lowering that leg kick, but I understand that's a drastic measure this late in the season. Looking over, throwing over, all that more. Like, he's been more mindful of runners at first base, but it's like once they get to second base, he doesn't even pay attention to him, and that's got to be corrected. Pitch outs. I know Tennessee doesn't do pitch outs. I know Tennessee doesn't do waste pitches, but something to help your guy out there, because I don't think if Tennessee were to move Marcus Phillips to the bullpen, first and foremost, why would you want to move him to the bullpen in high leverage situations with runners on base? It's going to be the same issue, right? So for me, and to, like somebody mentioned on the board the other day over at VolQuest.com, like, I'd love to see Marcus Phillips in one-inning spurts. you don't have enough pitching for that to happen. Excuse me. You don't have enough pitching to survive a weekend or a regional set, especially if you have to play into Monday, if that's the case. So to answer your question right now, James, I don't know. I think I think you're on to something. If Tennessee's a 1 seed or a 2 seed, that's dependent. Okay. If Tennessee's a 1 seed, I can see maybe holding Doyle until Saturday. But we will see. We will see. I think that's matchup dependent and based on what Tennessee looks like this weekend at Arkansas. But certainly A.J. Russell's an option. Tegan Coons is an option. Liam Doyle, Marcus Phillips. Nate Sneed is always an option. I mean, Tennessee's got some versatility, no doubt. But I need to see this weekend before I, kind of figure anything else out. Braden says, what is your own personal football favorite memory? Let me Uncle Rico this. Back in my playing days, had a couple of picks my senior year at Carson Newman. That was fun. My senior night at Jeff County playing Morristown East. They were backed up in their own territory, like 20, 15-yard line or something. It was 4th and 10. It was like late in the football game. And they had to throw to keep the drive alive. And I rushed, jumped up, batted the ball down, and that was a really, really cool memory. It doesn't seem like a spectacular play when I'm saying it out loud, but I felt like I was flying. Saw the tape. I might have got a couple inches off the ground. You know how it is. But no, that was one of my favorite football memories for sure. I had a lot of good high school football memories. A lot of sacks, a lot of tackles, a couple of picks. I mean, yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. Football is a blast for sure. But I would probably lean more towards a couple of interceptions my senior year at Carson Newman. I think that was fun because believe it or not, guys, I was never really known as getting interceptions and playing in space as a linebacker, right? What is your biggest pet peeve when talking Tennessee athletics with someone? I don't want this to come out and sound rude because I don't necessarily mean it that way, but just the spoiled nature, maybe. It's like perspective. And again, you never want to settle. I recognize that. But, remember where this football program was for so long before Josh Heupel. Remember where, for Tennessee baseball, you just won a national championship. Yes, that doesn't mean that this season's a throwaway. It doesn't mean that this is a mulligan and you shouldn't get frustrated with the way they're playing right now because, it's frustrating. I get it, but you just won a national championship. So keeping perspective would probably be my answer there. But again, I say it all the time. It should be the motto of this show. Fan is short for fanatic, and that's who we are. That's what we are for sure. Couple more here. Let's go to Kobe. When the football team announces a starting quarterback for Syracuse, what kind of leash will they be on in that game? 2 interceptions, do you think they get pulled? We'll have to see how the battle goes. We'll have to see how fall camp goes and how much separation is there between Jake and Joey or Joey Aguilar, Jake Markling, or George McIntyre. If it's very even, maybe the leash is short. But, when you name a starting quarterback, that's your starting quarterback, in my opinion, right? And so the old saying goes, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none, right? And so I would say that leash will be pretty long. That's just my opinion, but of course we'll see how it goes in fall camp. Let's see here. Assuming Joey arrives today, what do you think would be his top priority for him and Coach Josh Heupel? Is he able to watch tape with the staff? Can he practice with the wide receiver, O-line, tight end, running backs? To my knowledge, they change the rules all the time. Yeah, you can go watch film with coaches all the time. That's fair game. Go watch film, go watch tape, go over the playbook. That's all fair game. Can you practice with your teammates? Yes. You just can't have a coach out there. You can go throw with your wide receivers for sure. You can go walk through progressions with your running backs and your offensive line for sure. As long as there's not a coach out there, you can do whatever you want. So I would assume that is certainly a lot of the stuff that he's going to be trying to do getting on campus this week. Last question goes to YouTube, and it goes to Swayze. With the NCAA football game coming out July the 10th, who will be Tennessee's 2 highest rated players on the game, and what do you think Joey Aguilar's rating will be? Kind of going back to our conversation yesterday. Number 1 highest rated player will be Jamal McCoy, in my opinion. Number 2 highest rated player will probably be... Oh, man, that's tough. Could it be a Ricky Gibson? Could it be a Joshua Josephs? Could it be a Mike Matthews? Or could it be a Boo Carter? The Miles Kitzelman maybe, but again, he's huge in Tennessee's offense, but will he be huge in a video game? I don't know. I would probably go, if I had to pick right now, the 2nd highest ranked player, unless I'm just completely forgetting somebody. Gosh, man, I'll probably go Ricky Gibson to Boo Carter. Defensive backfield. I'm excited to see what this looks like for sure. All right. Went a little overboard here. appreciate you guys. I know you guys probably don't mind that, but thank you for submitting your questions here on a Tuesday morning. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Vols. Make Locked On Vols your first listen, your first watch on YouTube each and every single morning. Check out the newsletters for the Locked On Podcast Network, and we'll be back tomorrow for a little Josh Ward. Going to hopefully have a crossover later on with John Neighbors of Locked On Razorbacks, talking about the big baseball series coming up this weekend. We got a lot in store. Big thanks to Brian Smith as well for stopping by the show today. This is Locked On Vols. Thanks so much.